Okay, so get this. A secret government memo, a quiet reversal, and a huge shift in federal cannabis policy, and it all happened completely behind the scenes, until now. Today we're going to break down a story that really shows you just how fragile cannabis policy is in America, and what it might mean for the future.
So let's just dive right into the central mystery here. A key piece of federal guidance on marijuana was created, and then it was rescinded, all without anyone in the public having a clue. What in the world did it say, and why does its disappearance matter so much?
All right, to really get what happened, you got to look at this timeline. So, back in February 2024, the Biden Justice Department issues this quiet internal memo. Fast forward about a year and a half to September 2025, and the Trump Justice Department quietly gets rid of it. But here's the wild part. It wasn't until December of 2025 that anybody outside the government even knew this policy tug-of-war was going on. So what did this secret memo actually do? Well, it basically set up a new federal policy, and it was all built around this one idea: extreme caution when it came to prosecuting marijuana offenses.
And this right here, this is the core of it. This one sentence told federal prosecutors to completely rethink how they were handling simple marijuana possession cases. It was telling them, hey, be extremely cautious before you even think about bringing charges.
And this thing was incredibly specific. I mean, this wasn't just some vague suggestion. It created actual new rules. Prosecutors suddenly needed a supervisor's sign-off for simple possession charges. It told them to go easy on medical patients, and even warned them about the litigation risk of certain firearms cases. It also made this really crucial point. A pardon forgives the crime, but expungement erases the record. This memo made it crystal clear these pardons weren't wiping the slate clean.
But then a new administration comes in, and that whole framework of caution, it just gets wiped away. The policy didn't just get tweaked, it was completely 180-degree reversed. And this just shows you the policy whiplash perfectly, right? All that language about discretion and caution from the Biden era was replaced by the Trump DOJ's rescission. It's direct, it's immediate, and it replaces caution with a clear mandate for rigorous enforcement. Just like that, the guardrails were gone overnight.
And the impact was immediate. You had the U.S. Attorney's Office in Wyoming, for instance, publicly announcing it would use every prosecutorial tool available. The reversal of this one memo sent this clear, chilling signal across the whole country, and it created this massive cloud of uncertainty for businesses and individuals alike.
So here's the really crucial point. This back and forth isn't just about one little memo. It shines a massive spotlight on a much bigger, more fundamental debate. Can you really build a stable national industry on policies that can literally be erased with the stroke of a pen? You know, for a lot of cannabis advocates and business owners, this whole episode was basically the ultimate proof that temporary guidance from the executive branch just isn't a real solution. It's a Band-Aid, totally dependent on who happens to be in the White House. And that instability has really lit a fire under the push for something much, much more permanent.
This exact feeling is being echoed by some key voices out there, like Wanda James. She's a longtime cannabis entrepreneur who's now running for Congress, and her whole argument is that all these little incremental tweaks and single-issue bills, they're completely missing the point.
And that brings us to the alternative vision that advocates like James are pushing for. They're arguing that the only real solution isn't another memo or another guideline from the DOJ, but a permanent fix that's actually written into law by Congress. Her message couldn't be clearer. Fully deschedule cannabis at the federal level. We're not talking about just moving it to a lower schedule. We're talking about removing it from the Controlled Substances Act entirely, treating it like alcohol or tobacco. Full stop.
And she connects this big picture idea to the specific, day-to-day problems that are just crippling the industry. She's pointing directly at the federal tax code, at the constant risk of federal raids on state legal businesses, and that general fear that just hangs over everyone. For her, only full legalization can actually solve these core issues.
So let's talk about 280E for a second. What is it? Well, it's a part of the tax code that was designed to punish drug traffickers. And because cannabis is still a Schedule I drug at the federal level, these state legal businesses can't deduct normal expenses like rent or payroll. This can lead to insane tax rates, sometimes over 70%, and it's something only an act of Congress can fix. So you see, this comprehensive vision for legalization, it's about so much more than just letting people use cannabis legally.
It's about creating the stable economic foundation with real access to banking, allowing products to finally cross state lines, setting up national safety standards, and making sure social equity is baked into the framework right from the start.
So when you take a step back and look at the whole picture, what this secret memo and its reversal have really laid bare are the two totally different paths forward for cannabis in America.
On one side, you've got the path we've been stuck on, administrative discretion. Policy is made through these top-down memos. It's temporary, it's unstable, and its scope is pretty much limited to small tweaks. But on the other side is this growing demand for legislative legalization, a permanent, stable law passed by Congress that addresses the entire ecosystem of issues, from banking all the way to taxes.
And so ultimately, the story of this secret memo leaves us all with this one critical question. In an industry that's still operating in this bizarre legal gray area, with federal policy shifting quietly in the background, what is it actually going to take to create a stable, predictable, and fair future for cannabis in America?